KMBC9 political reporter Michael Mahoney's back with a quick analysis of what we just heard. What stood out to you about the candidates?
A couple of things. When with Jay Ashcroft, his aggressive tone with you, which he has started to do in a number of other interviews with reporters around the state, he was very aggressive in that, and he's been that way. His call for a elimination of the state income tax, which is 2/3 of the general fund for the state of Missouri, would prompt a wide rearrangement of state government, hauling in Missouri highway funds and other state agency funds into the general fund. We'll see how that goes. Bill Eigel called for a reckoning. He's appealing to the MAGA voters of the Missouri Republican Party, of which there are many, and it would be similar to his conduct in the state Senate when he was there. And he's also not only calling for an elimination of the state income tax, but the state personal property tax, and that's the tax that we all pay on our vehicles over throughout the state as well. Mike Keogh explained his vote on foreign ownership as saving jobs for a pork plant, Smithville Porkville plant here, which was a different way to address that. And also Keogh is one of the only one of the three candidates that's expressing any sort of support from the state for stadiums here in Kansas City for the Royals and the Chiefs.
And our full interviews on KMBC.com. You can hear more from Ashcroft and Eigel on that. What's the state of the race right now?
It's tight, and it's going to be tight. This is going to be a barn burner. The latest polls from last week show Jay Ashcroft and Mike Keogh tied at 29%, and Bill Eigel with 18%, and undecided at 15%, which is pretty high going into the final weekend of this. This is going to be a race where it's going to be whether or not Mike Keogh can get more Main Street Republicans out rather than Jay Ashcroft and Bill Eigel, who both are appealing to MAGA Republicans inside of the Republican Party of Missouri, and there are a lot of them.
Yeah, all candidates were really pushing for an individual endorsement for former President Trump. They all got one, so what's the factor here, if any?
There's no impact from it, and I think it's sort of disrespectful to the Missouri Republican Party voters in this primary to issue a meaningless endorsement like that. If you're going to do that, pick one of them. Otherwise, what's the point? It doesn't make any sense to me, and I think it's disrespectful to the voters.
Yeah, and he's done it before in Missouri.
Right.
Michael Mahoney, thank you so much.